Welcome to the latest episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. This is episode 218, Realistic Holiday Habits, Staying Well Without the All or Nothing Mindset. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. I'm Shelly Brielle, registered dietitian nutritionist, and today I want to talk about realistic holiday habits and how to stay well in a season that can feel chaotic, emotional, and definitely food heavy. And yes, as I often do with these episodes, I have a blog to pair with this that I wrote and posted. I wrote it. It was posted earlier this week, and it's talking about about the concept of enjoying holiday food without the guilt. So this episode and that blog go hand in hand, and as always, that blog is linked in the show notes. So they have similar but also different information. So when you read that, you're going to get slightly different information. And stay tuned to the end of this episode, and you can learn about the free 12 Days of Wellness. I've done this for so many years. This year, it starts on Monday, December 8th. So if you check at the end, or at least in the show notes, you'll learn more about how to get registered for that. So with that, already, I've talked to people where they talk about how the holiday season brings a lot of frustration. And it's not because people don't know what to do with regard to eating in the holiday season or just general wellness in the holiday season. But what it is that they think that they should be able to control everything. They've got the knowledge, they've got the information about health and wellness and food choices. But this time of year, it feels like they're not able to control it. And there's this expectation that if you care enough or try hard enough, you would be disciplined. And this is where I remind my clients, people I work with, that discipline is not the issue. Being human is. So I want to clarify that. You are not failing. If you find that you are not disciplined like you feel you should be, or people say this, it's not a failure. It's being human. Our society is set up to where we are able to access things, our food and that sort of thing all the time. So it's not about discipline, it's about our environment. And if you enter a season full of social events, tight schedules, big emotions, this can happen this time of year, family dynamics and navigating that, because there's this expectation that you are with family this time of year. And then, of course, the constant access to rich food, habits will shift. This is normal. It is not a character flaw. It is not a lack of willpower. It is human behavior responding to the environment. So today, I want to talk about realistic habits and what they look like during the holidays. Not the fantasy version where you're tracking every gram that you put in your mouth or every calorie you put in your mouth or declining every cookie or walk around with the absolute moderation and balanced diet. We're talking about a version that actually works in real life, real world nutrition. So first, I want to talk about why the all or nothing mindset shows up. In my years of experience, this time of year tends to bring out the extremes. And people tend to go into one of two camps. Now, I'll just say this. If you're not in one of these two camps, great. I know a lot of people are able to handle the moderation or the middle ground here. But I still see this to this day. So, camp one, the rigid plan, the mindset that says, I cannot mess up. I need to be strict. I need to avoid everything. And I've witnessed this when people are getting ready for a fitness competition and they're limiting themselves on Thanksgiving Day and got to get in that workout that afternoon. Super rigid. Then there's camp two, and that's the free-for-all. The idea that the holidays are already going to ruin my diet, or they've already destroyed my diet and the gym is not the time, this is not the time for the gym. Their eating plan is off. So why bother? And the plan is to start over in January when things are calm again. And I'll tell you what, in all the years that I've been doing this, I end up having to ask people, when is your life ever really calm? Most of the time, January is not what it is. It usually is not at any time. But going with either extreme, the Camp 1 of the rigid plan or the Camp 2 of the free-for-all, it doesn't help us feel good. It doesn't help you feel good at all. And both come from the same place, at least emotionally or mentally, this fear of losing control. But here's the thing. Holidays are not about control. Actually, nothing is about control year-round. But the holidays, when we have more of these things going on, it's about navigation. It's about flexibility. It's about making choices that help you feel grounded, steady, even if your usual routine seems way off. So when you feel that pull towards extremes, notice it. It's not a failure. It's a pattern that shows up for a lot of people. So you don't need to push yourself into this rigid box. You don't need to throw your hands up and say, forget it. I'll start again in January. There is a middle ground. There is a middle space. And that middle space or middle ground is where the realistic habits live. So I'm going to go through different habits that I recommend that people adopt this time of year. Actually, again, it's any time of year, but this time of year, it just becomes magnified. So first up, this is a common one. Eat enough during the day. Now, this might be the simplest habit, but it's the one that I find most people skip. During the holidays, people get busy, skip meals, or try to save calories for an evening event. And then when that evening event happens, or, they've found that they've skipped meals, they show up starving, feel out of control around food, and then later blame themselves for their lack of discipline, their lack of self-control. When the reality is, they're just hungry. The human body needs fuel. Hunger makes every food look more appealing. Hunger makes decisions feel rushed. Hunger makes you think something is wrong with you when the problem is not you, it's that your body is telling you it needs fuel. So I remind people, even if you have a holiday outing tonight, breakfast matters. Lunch matters. Even that snack at 3 p.m. matters. Eating consistently helps keep steady appetite and cravings from taking over. It sets you up to make rational food decisions when you get to the party or the gathering or even just dinner at home. Now, if you think about it, appetite and cravings, I tell people, who's craving a salad when they're really hungry? There's other things that our brains and our bodies naturally will gravitate to, and it's not the healthiest food, but it's a way to get quick fuel. So I just want to remind people, this isn't about being perfect here, not saying that you have to have breakfast and lunch and dinner or breakfast, lunch, and snacks at these specific times every single day. There is flexibility, but it is more about setting yourself up so you don't hit that point where anything within reach is fair game. You're driving down the street and every single fast food restaurant is sounding appealing. So eat enough during the day. Habit number 2, be intentional, not restrictive. So intentional eating is not the same as restrictive eating. Restrictive eating is fear-based. It's telling you you can't trust yourself. It tells you to avoid these foods entirely because you might eat too much or you might lose control. Where intentional eating is more curiosity-based. It says you get to decide what you want in a way that feels good. So, for example, you might choose to have your favorite dessert because you genuinely want it. Or you might pass on something because it's not that special to you. That's intentional eating, and the difference is that you're making choices from a grounded place, not from fear. So here's some simple questions. Do I want this? Will it taste good? Will it satisfy me? Does this feel worth it? And these questions can help you stay present without getting pulled into the guilt or rigid rules. Now, the part of curiosity, you may see something and you're not quite sure what it is or whether or not you like it. Sure, go ahead and give it a try. And if it's not something that's super yummy or satisfying or worth it to you, it's okay to not have more. Even if you have 2 or 3 more bites, it's okay to leave it behind. Now, habit number 3, know what actually helps you feel good. So we've got experience with what foods help us feel good and what helps us not feel so good. And this isn't an imaginary ideal of, oh, I'm going to feel amazing and be ready to go to the gym early in the morning and all this. It's your real life experience. So to clarify, different people feel best with different habits. We're the same, but we're also very different. So some people prefer to go for a walk after dinner because it helps them with digestion. Others need downtime to recharge before or after social events. Some people will feel like they need to get plenty of protein earlier in the day. Some say they need more steady hydration. Some need more sleep. Now, here's the thing. All of those would be ideal for a lot of us, having the protein, having the steady hydration, having that sleep. But we know what is best for us. We know what helps us feel good. I know when I get plenty of sleep, I feel good. I also know that when I'm better hydrated, I feel good too. But I try to make sure I'm focusing on one of those things. So think about what keeps you steady, what grounds you, what helps you actually feel good, even when your schedule's thrown off. And if you choose some of these things to anchor your week, not everything. So I want to focus on the hydration. During this crazy time in winter time, hydration tends to take a back burner, at least for me. So that would be something that would be to anchor the week. That one thing to focus on. Not everything, not the whole list, just one or a few. So here's some examples. Maybe it's making sure you're eating vegetables once a day. Yes, more than that would be great, but let's talk about realistic here. Eating vegetables once a day. Maybe it's carrying a water bottle, but also not just carrying the water bottle. I always say this is what our brain will do. I'm carrying my water bottle, but making sure you're carrying your water bottle and it's empty by the end of the day or empty by midday. Maybe it's going to bed at a consistent time when possible. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes in your car to breathe before walking into a family gathering. So these small habits can keep us grounded. And again, they don't have to be perfect habits. Like I said with the vegetables, yes, more than once a day is ideal, but let's take what we can get and go with those small habits. Now, habit 4, stop expecting yourself to be a robot. Now, this one might sound blunt or weird, but I need to say it. Here it is. You're not going to eat like you do in May. You're not going to work out like you do in September. You cannot hold the same routine during a season where your schedule, stress, travel, and the environment shifts dramatically. This is normal. When we have seasonal changes, we have less daylight in the winter, at least in the northern hemisphere, compared to summer. That's different, and it's okay. It's normal. So expecting yourself to have this perfect routine year-round sets you up for guilt every single time. So again, let's talk realistic habits. Realistic habits acknowledge the season you're in. They adapt, they bend, they shift to your life. They shift to fit your life, I should say. So you might do shorter workouts. You might not do the after dinner walk because it's dark. You might focus on the gym rather than outdoor time or something else. Working out at home, because I don't know, I get scared of the gym this time of year. You might lean on convenience meals, and that's okay. You might keep certain days more structured and let the rest be more flexible. This is adaptation. It's not failure. Adaptation is a skill, and it helps reduce stress instead of adding to it. Adapt to things. We adapt more than we realize. So be okay with that, even in this area of your life. Now, habit 5, I have to say, this is another one that tends to come to the top. I don't know why I put this one in the middle, but stop tying morality to food choices. So this is one of the biggest sources of holiday guilt. And maybe I just tune into it more because I hear it year round, but I tend to hear it more this time of year, but it's also possibly because I'm in more social settings, it feels like. So people start using moral language around food. Good food, bad food, clean eating, cheating, being naughty, being disciplined. When you attach morality to food, your brain interprets that eating certain things is misbehavior. Then guilt shows up, at least for many people. When you misbehave, guilt shows up. Then shame starts creeping in, and that shame makes it harder to make rational or calm decisions later. Here's the thing. Regardless of what society tells us, food is food. Yes, some are more nutritious, some are not. Some are everyday choices, some are seasonal treats that show up once a year. And I'm hearing the volume being turned up on this morality of foods, like these, talking about ultra processed foods. And yes, they're not the best for you, but really, it's times where it can fit. I'm not saying to eat them all the time. It's the sometimes choices. But any of these choices, I should say none of these choices say anything about your worth as a human, your discipline as a human, your commitment to wellness. And people who do have this morality with their food, they're not better than you. They're not. Food is food. If you want the cookie, eat the cookie. If you don't want it, skip it. You don't need to build a whole identity around it. There's some cookies I like. There's some I absolutely hate. I don't care. I'm eating the cookies I want, and I don't care what time of day it is either, because I think I talked about this in the past. I don't remember if it was on the podcast or not. What defines a breakfast food? The time of day. Because why is eating a cookie at breakfast wrong, but eating a donut is okay? So sometimes I have cookies for breakfast, especially this time of year. It's not all the time. And you can say what you want about me, but I don't care. All right. Number 6, habit 6, pay attention to the pace. Pay attention to the pace, not just the food. So sometimes it's not the food that feels overwhelming. It's the pace of the season. People run from event to event. It seems like they get less sleep. They may actually get less sleep. They stop checking in with their hunger cues. They eat for convenience instead of preference. Go back to habit number 1, or was it 2, eating consistently throughout the day. They feel overstimulated. They cope with stress by eating or skipping meals or overthinking every choice. And overthinking, that is like putting the cookie in your mouth as you're telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Go back to the last tip or habit. You might not have control over your entire schedule, but you can build intentional pauses. So slowing down the pace, even slightly, can make a big impact. So here's some ideas here. A quiet breakfast. a few minutes outside before an event. I mentioned that one already. 5 minutes in the car before going in. Taking a break between errands. A moment to ask yourself how you're feeling before grabbing food. And I've really, I don't know, I never thought I'd be this person. When I'm in traffic, and this happens a lot, it feels like, I'm just like, you know what? It sucks, and I'm going to get home eventually. I was not that person in the past. I was that person who was always upset by traffic. So thinking about that pace of things, yes, I'm getting home when I get home. So this pacing matters with lots of things in our life and in our eating habits. Because that rushed pace of life, the rushed pace of the season can influence appetite, influence mood, influence our cravings. It does have an effect on our digestion. Stress does affect our digestion. And it also affects our energy levels. So just think about, we can slow down. Yeah, we've got a lot to do. We have the same amount of time every single day. We can't get it all done. Habit number 7. Oh my goodness, allow yourself to enjoy this season. You are allowed to enjoy holiday foods. It doesn't matter what holiday you observe. Those foods are here. And you are totally allowed to appreciate traditions. Of course, you can eat something because it tastes good, not because it fits into a nutritional formula. When you are allowed to enjoy things, eating becomes calmer. You savor it more. You eat more mindfully. You stop when you're done, not when you feel like you've taken advantage of the situation. So enjoy it. And allowing yourself or permitting yourself or giving permission is one of those stabilizing habits during the holidays. Without this idea of giving yourself permission, people have this idea of falling into deprivation. Oh, I can't have that. Then there's the rebound eating. Oh my gosh, well, I'm going to eat it, this other thing, or I'll eat it anyway. Then there's the guilt. Then there's the restriction. Then there's this cycle that goes over and over and over again. I say this a lot. I haven't said it in a while on the podcast, I don't think. As humans, when we're told we can't have something, what happens? I say it's one of the first stories in the Bible. There's always examples of when we're told we can't have something. It is human nature to go after it. So give yourself permission to have it. And it may be less likely something you are craving or gravitating to. Enjoyment breaks this cycle of the deprivation, rebound eating, guilt, restriction. It tends to bring down the urgency. It lowers the emotions related to that. And there are things that I make this time of year that is never around other times of year. It's in the month of December only. And it's not because it's restriction. It is the season, the seasonal foods. And yeah, it's really good stuff. It's really rich stuff. And not thinking about it being restrictive. Not saying I can't have that fudge. I'm going to have it. And I'm going to enjoy it. Now, habit number 8. Remember, this season is temporary. So in my experience, people often panic us about holiday eating as if November and December will dictate the entire year. And of course, they do not. It's a small window of time. At least in 2025 this year, actually Thanksgiving to New Year's is a shorter window this year because Thanksgiving was later in the month. So we got 1/12 of the year, maybe 2/12 or 1/6 of the year is the holiday season. So remember, your long-term habits matter far more than anything that happens over these few weeks. So we have this saying that people tend to be concerned about what they're eating between Thanksgiving and New Year's when it's really New Year's to Thanksgiving is what they should be more paying attention to. So that's the way of saying it's not this month that you have to be all uptight about it. Think about your long-term habits. The stress comes from thinking this month or the holiday seasons are the whole story, and that dictates our whole year. It's not. It's a chapter, and it's a short one. Your routine will return, your schedule will return, your energy will return. You might be more active. You don't need to fight the season to protect your health. Wintertime, we tend to be maybe not quite bears. I wish that was the case, but we tend to hibernate a little bit more, again, because this is related to daylight, but then we also do have social times. So you just need habits that support you through this time of year. So that's why I had these 8 habits for you today. So with that, some final thoughts here. The holidays are not that time of year to require perfection in everything, but presence, awareness, practical choices, rational choices, and a whole lot of grace for being a human. You're not bad because you don't have discipline. You can enjoy your food. You can enjoy the season. You can take care of yourself without policing every bite. And you can move into the new year without this idea of guilt or burnout or feeling like you need to make up for anything. So this is really the center of realistic holiday habits. They work because they fit real life, not because they demand constant diligence. So with that, just a few more things I want to say. If you haven't read the blog yet, which you probably haven't because it just came out 3 days ago as I'm recording this. So the blog is Holiday Eating Without the Guilt. So it pairs with this conversation. So again, I have that linked in the show notes. And then I want to mention this. I teased it at the beginning of the episode, is the reminder of a program I've done for many, many years is the 12 Days of Wellness. And every year I do it different. There's different ways I go about it. The 12 Days of Wellness is coming up, and really what it is, it's simple ways to reset some of our habits during the season that can feel all over the place, like I talked about in this episode. And each of those 12 days focuses on just one small action. Nothing extreme, nothing to overhaul your life in these 12 days. It's really one of those things that, talking about things that can ground you, talking about hydration, talking about sleep. These are realistic things that support your energy, mood, hydration, movement, overall well-being. So if you want a little structure or reminders about having some structure without guilt or pressure, this 12 Days of Wellness is a good fit. So this is a free program I do. It's easy to follow. It's helpful for a lot of people to feel more grounded. Again, reminders as the years are winding down. It's 12 days. So if you go to 12daysofwellness.com, I have the link in the show notes. It's daily emails sent to your inbox starting December 8th. So for 12 days, it's weekdays, not weekends. And if you're listening after the start of the program, so after December 8th, you can still sign up and you get the remaining days as well as the link to past days. So sometimes people don't catch it on the first day of the 12 Days of Wellness. They might catch it on the 4th or 5th day or even the second week. And the way I have it set up, the emails link back to a webpage that has all the tips. So you're not missing out if you sign up after the start of the program. And I just tell people, share this with anyone you think might want to do this, are having those attaching morality to food or having the sounds of stress of the holidays. So again, 12daysofwellness.com. It's also ShellyRyel.com, and it's on the homepage as well, but it rolls over to, if you go to 12daysofwellness.com, it rolls to the website anyway, and it just explains a little bit more of what to expect. And while you're on the website, I just say, hey, check out the various resources I have there. I've got blogs, lots and lots of blogs that I've been doing for several years now. I've got all the podcast episodes. I got some free resources there. And you can sign up for the weekly email that I send out every Friday that gives updates from the past week, as well as upcoming programs and resources that I'm bringing out in 2026. All right, so I'd love for you to join me on the 12 Days of Wellness. No pressure, of course, it's free again. So with that, I wish you have a minimal stress this time of year, but I will be back in a week with more real world nutrition information. So with that, you all take care and bye for now.